Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, wherever you're at around the world. My name is Kelly Kellam, and welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live streams every day, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you can watch these videos anytime because this is all about bridging that gap from beginner to pro. Whether you are a pro, you're far along in your journey, whether you've been in here a couple years, whether you've been in here for 3 days, it doesn't matter. We try to do everything that we can to bring you content to help you understand what's going on in these markets, help you understand the tools that are available to you, free tools and paid tools, and basically help you navigate this market consistently profitable over time. If this is your first time, if this is your last time, and this is your only time, either way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm just going to get some things set here. All righty. The markets look like they had a little bit of a green candle, but does that mean that we're going to continue to the upside? Well, we're not entirely sure just yet, but what we can do is we can look at what the signals are that are on the chart and make an informed decision about what our strategy is. Are we going to adapt our strategy today? Are we going to continue on with the strategy we had? Is there new data? Is there old data that we need to throw out? We need to look at all this stuff, but there is a signal, an indicator that called perfectly what was happening. So let me know in the chat how you're doing. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Were you trading this pump? And I don't mean longing from the bottom. Did you actually did you use any signals that help you catch this pump before it went up? Did you take profits? Are you at a loss right now? Let us know where you're at. This is all about community. This is about us coming together as a family, as a community of people within this ecosystem, trying to navigate it in a healthy way, profitably over time. And the more we share with each other, the more we can learn from each other's mistakes so we don't make them. For instance, I shared was it last week already? I think it was. I shared last week how I had $30,000 stolen from me, hacked from my Coinbase account. And that's not a proud thing for me to say. I'm not proud of that. I'm somebody that's been working in crypto and in markets since 2012, but in crypto specifically since 2016. This should not have happened to me. I watched for all the signals, but you know what? They get you, they hit you for rapid fire with, a phone, email, text, this, that, all things that they trigger emails from the exchange itself. This is how it's sort of happening. I'm going to be breaking this all down for you, not today, but in a future video. But the point here is I share this with you all because I want to be transparent with my journey so that you can learn from the mistakes I've made in the past. And unfortunately, some of the mistakes that I still make today, because you know what? I am human. And you are human, and as humans, we are a social species. Let's share and communicate. That's how we push our civilization forward, especially if we think about crypto. Think about crypto as its own sort of community, separate from everything else. We need to push our community forward, and we can only do that through transparency. We can only do that through sharing our experience with each other. So I hope everybody's doing well. I'm in a good mood today. Woke up bright and early, played around on my phone a little bit, checked out some other YouTube videos, checked out some charts, looked at what was going on. And I was really happy to see the signal that we caught that really identified this trade setup ahead of time on multiple time frames. So we're going to be breaking that down. Again, my name's Kelly Kellam. Make sure you follow me over there on Twitter. Please make sure you're doing the right spelling, Kelly, Kellam. And then, of course, go to the bitlabacademy.com if you haven't yet. And those are all the socials there on the bottom, which is right down here, I believe. Yes, at Academy BitLab on Twitter, at BitLab Academy on YouTube, and at Academy BitLab on Instagram. So without any further ado, let's jump into this. Let's look at the charts. Let's look at the screen. Let's see what's going on. So, of course, this was at Academy BitLab on the Twitter. On YouTube, of course, it is at BitLab Academy. I do want to call out the last thing I will say about all the Twitters. I'm just trying to make sure people don't follow scammers. Follow the correct one, Kelly, Kellam. We reference this chart and some other charts that I share on here pretty regularly. So one of the ways that you can really help out this channel grow and this community grow so that we can help more people is when we share in the morning, when we share what's happening here on the BitLab Academy Twitter, the stream, go ahead and reshare it, retweet it, let people know what's going on, because this is not just saying, hey, we're going to do technical analysis and show you exactly what we see in the charts. We're trying to teach you how we find those things. We're trying to talk you through the concepts as well as doing technical analysis, as well as showing you strategies, as well as highlighting different tools and indicators. So that's what we're all about here on BitLab Academy, daily streams. And again, if you have not yet, we're going to come over here and we're going to go to BitLab Academy, BitLab Academy. I don't want to do that. BitLabAcademy.com, and make sure you sign up for this email. This newsletter right here, because every week I will be sending out, we send out basically an email to the BitLab Insiders Club, which is this email newsletter. You'll also be entered to win one free month access to the courses. And let me tell you, we have over 25 new courses coming with over 200 new lessons that will starting to be rolled out here now this month. We're starting with a batch of about 50, and we'll be rolling out new courses and new lessons throughout the next couple years. And it's a ton of stuff, more stuff that's already in BitLab Academy, everything from chart patterns and breaking down each indicator and how to use them, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, an entire course on on-chain data, and you get access. You enter to win one free month access to this. And last thing I'll say about this before we move on is that the prices will be going up once these updates roll out. So make sure you get in now, because once the prices go up, the people that are in before that price increase are going to be they're going to be locked in at this lower price. So you're going to have the benefit of basically being an OG member and have that lower price and not have your rates increased. And this newsletter will also, I'll be sending out some signals and some other things that happen, lessons and stuff with, basically great alpha. So you get a lot out of this newsletter. And in addition to that, I add at the bottom of each newsletter, starting this week, a section to vote on some of the content that's going to be on the following week's daily streams here on the BitLab Academy YouTube. So we've said it all. So I'm going to jump back to the charts. I'm going to take a breath. Try not to hiccup while I'm on stream, because as much as I'm a personable person and I'm extroverted, it gets a little bit of pressure to do this on stream every day. Sometimes I find myself talking so fast I forget to breathe. So, okay, so we're going to be going over some really incredible data today and try to figure out what insights are available to us, and what not only available to us, because it's more than the insights being available to us. We need to be able to pull those insights out of the data and figure out how we can integrate those into a strategy that works for us. And what do I mean by works for us? I mean a strategy that helps us generate revenue, a return on investment. Whether you're doing a long or a short, whether your time horizon is 1 day, 1 year, or 10 years, we have to understand what all these things are so that we can be looking for the insights that are available to us that will serve that strategy. So let's go ahead and jump back here onto the charts. Onto the screen, I should say. And we're going to start right here. It's always good. What do I say every stream? We always want to make sure that we are looking at our macro, our midterm, and our micro, and that's specifically on charts for TA. But when we're talking about markets themselves, we also want to make sure we're doing the same sort of thing. We want to make sure that we are, what is that? Okay, sorry. I was just reading Crimson Caravan Company's message here. It says, "Do you want us to tell you when you're turning blue?" I read that. I thought you said that I was turning blue. I was like, I was looking at the lights, but no, absolutely. If I'm turning blue, let me know. And you know what? Before we move on, big shout out to all the regulars here, the community members, the BitLab insiders. We got a mellow fellow, Crimson Caravan Company. I see Crimson Caravan everywhere. Big shout out to them. Matt C, Alexander G, Matt Lane. So many people in here. Duncan Gornall, Tenacious B. I like that. I used to jam some Tenacious D too. Our Chicago Brew. Man, we got so many people in here. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that's here in chat. Karen Swigart Harris. Let me know if this is your first time, put a 1. If this is beyond your third time, put a 1 million. Just let me know. We're trying to build this community, and we're trying to do it to where it's not just me talking at you. We want to make sure that all of you are engaging here in the chat, the live chat. If you're watching here on BitLab Academy, this is the place to watch it. We also stream this at the same time time over on the Hit Network, and it's restreamed on the Hit Network. So shout out to anybody that's over there. If you are over there, make sure to pop over to BitLab Academy at some point and check us out live so you can join in the chat and leave your comment below if you're watching this later about what's going on, any questions we have, because we do read through these. We do see those things, whether they're nice or hateful. And thank God we have a warm community here. And so I only ask, if you have criticism, don't be a troll. Don't be a jackass. I'll say it. Be somebody that offers criticism with construction, like constructive criticism, rather than we're building a community of empowerment and engagement and inspiration. We're not trying to be a community that tears itself down because there's just people that don't like this or don't like that. So I'm here trying to share my experience to help you. So if you want me to improve, anything that you want me to improve, you can let me know, but do it constructively. Compliment sandwich it, baby. I got feelings too. All right. So moving on here. So I was talking about macro, midterm, micro, and what I mean by that when I was talking about technical analysis is we look at the various time frames, the larger time frames, the medium time frames, and the very small time frames. Similarly, when we're looking at the markets, if we're trying to figure out what's going on with Bitcoin itself, we also have to look at the grander context of what's happening, not only in Bitcoin, not only in the crypto ecosystem, but what is this a part of? This ecosystem, much like our planet is a component of the Milky Way galaxy, okay, or it's a component of our solar system. We have multiple other planets within the solar system. For instance, the tides of the ocean are affected by the gravity of the moon. So understanding the grander context gives you better understanding of when those how to understand the tides of the ocean. Same thing when we talk about Bitcoin, or we talk about Ethereum, or we talk about Cardano, or any of these coins within the crypto ecosystem. We have to understand this grander context. This is why, as much as you might be excited about Bitcoin, as much as you might be excited about the crypto ecosystem, or whatever crypto assets you may be holding or staking or trading, whatever it is, these all fit into a larger picture that hold more weight in the global economy. Like, for instance, traditional markets. If you think of gold, if you think of silver, if you think of equities, if you think of treasuries and bonds, real estate, all these things have vastly larger market caps than Bitcoin, and thus they hold more gravity. They have a big impact on what's happening globally with all other assets. So that's why we want to look at the variety of things going on outside of Bitcoin, so that then when we look to Bitcoin, we can give further support to that narrative to the upside, or maybe lean a little bit more cautious because there's a grander bearish case that is looming over our head that we might be finding support on that doesn't give us as far of a run as we are expecting. So having this context are very, very important. So alrighty. All right, so what we wanted to look at here is this right here. This is a heat map from Stock Market News, Stock Market Evan. You can find him right here at Stock MKTNEWZ. But we can see that the markets are looking on general. If we just look at the color, there's not as much green today as there was yesterday. And yesterday was a funny day because yesterday we had, let's see, I have something playing music over here. Yesterday we had, there we go. Yesterday we had the CPI print, and the CPI print came out actually it came out it came out over what the expectation was. Sorry about that. I was dealing with something on my screen here. The CPI came out 0.2 over what the expectation was. And the markets, everybody would have assumed that the markets would have had a big pullback on that news. And there was a whipsaw. We talked about that yesterday. But we had a bit of a greener day than anybody expected. Now looking today, we are seeing a little bit of that hesitation in the market. We're seeing the general pinkish reddish hue here on the screen. Just looking at this heat map, this is what's known as a heat map. Brighter green is very, very bullish. Darker red is very bearish. And we can see all these various assets within the traditional market ecosystem on S&P 500, as we can see right here. And there's mostly red here. So there's a bit of a bearish narrative there's a bit of a bearishness playing out within that ecosystem. Now, moving on, I'm only saying this so we have context about what's happening in the markets. Before we zoom down in onto the asset that we are trading, we want to look at the context around us. Think of it also like a predator. You are either going to be predator in this market with crypto. You are either going to be predator or you are going to be prey. There's no other way around it. So a predator that's able to survive for a long period of time and get fat from being able to hunt its prey and eat it has a great awareness about all things around him, him or her, has all his awareness, his keen senses, it's tuned into its eyesight and its hearing and its smelling, it's paying attention. And then once it knows the landscape of what's happening then it zooms and locks in on its target and, basically takes the kill. And so as a predator, you have to look at your grander landscape before you lock onto and fixate on your target. Otherwise, you are the prey. So what we need to do here is we're going to be looking at a couple things. I wanted to share this later, but it's right here in the lineup. So this is just something generally bullish. We're seeing that we have over 44 million addresses holding Bitcoin. And I believe this is the point, the non-zero balance chart, as we can see right here. This means all the Bitcoin wallets that are out there that are holding at least something on their wallets. They weren't emptied. So these aren't fake spoof accounts. This is incredibly bullish. I mean, especially looking at 2022, we had still an increase of adoption throughout all of 22, whereas the price action was falling all of 2022. So this would be a fundamental bullish divergence because we're seeing adoption and use case increase while the speculative value was decreasing. So this is one of those ways that we look, and I have a great chart I'm going to pull up here in a second to really highlight this sort of zone that we're in right now and how bullish it is for where we're at in the grander scheme of things. So moving on here, we're looking right here. This is the SPX McClellan summation has gone from minus 1,000 to plus 1,000 for only the third time since 2018. The market's moved higher the last two times. Now, of course, this is talking about the S&P 500, but what did we just talk about? About understanding our landscape, understanding the grander scheme of things. We want to understand the general context of markets and the fear and greed, but more likely the psychology of the average investor and trader and retail that's across the world. Because if they're looking to get into assets, and we can see that through looking at these other markets, then that will also trickle over into Bitcoin. And of course, we know that there tends to be a lot more volatility and upside action when we get it. So if we start seeing this pressure let off right here, and I do want to point out, there's a bit of a trend line right here that we've slightly broken through. I pulled that up on the chart the other day, but we can see there's a bit of a trend line right here, but this is still, we haven't gotten above this level here yet. If this goes up and gets rejected, or even goes up, we still have a lot of context and time that needs to play out to really have confident bullish moves. And I think that's going to be what's playing out in 2023 this year, that we get that move with the markets moving up, pushing up to that, whether it's 38 to 42,000 level, or maybe a little, I can't see it going much higher than that this year. But then pulling back and really testing the bulls. And then in 2024, when we get the halving and that sort of psychology on supply, the bearish pressure is a little bit released. We're going into an election year in 2024. Then all systems go, I think will be the narrative of 2024 into 2025. But we are seeing right now that we are having signals that are indicating that we could have upside on the general traditional markets. And thus, we can take that into context as to what we're looking at when we're looking at Bitcoin. Now, we've already got that. I don't know why there's two of them there. And then this is the last one I wanted to show you. Before I show you the indicator setup, the signals that basically on multiple time frames signaled with a little bit of foreshadowing in the signal, as well as the trigger point for where to take the trade. But as we look at this chart right here, and I'm I don't want to say fixated, but my focus has been very much on chain this last week and a half because I've been filming all the lessons for the on-chain course in BitLab Academy. And again, I'm going to shout it out again. Make sure you go and check out BitLab Academy. Get involved now. This whole website is changing. We have a brand new website, the 25 plus new courses, over 200 new lessons broken down, and this is all video based. There's going to be some text based resources, of course, but this is a video based course system as opposed to the current setup now, which is kind of a blend between text based reading and video. We walk you through everything every step of the way in the new BitLab Academy, but get in now before the prices go up by the end of this month. So get in, and you can use that code I shared the last couple days, relaunch 15, which is like this. Relaunch 15. Don't put it here. Put your email here. But when if you're going to purchase, you can just click right here on Get Started Today, or come over here to Indicators, and you can just give you access right here. And then when you come into the checkout page, come right here where it says I have a coupon. Where does it say it? Boom, boom. Right here. Have a coupon. Click on that, and you put in relaunch 15. Put in relaunch 15 right there, and you'll get 15% off your first month of indicators and courses. But jumping back here, so I've been working on all these courses, getting this on-chain course pumped out. And I was doing a video on this 2 days ago, and I was just like, you know what? I need to share this with our community. This is the value days destroyed multiple. Now, I'll go into this in more detail in the lesson. Essentially, think of it this way. This takes into the consideration the coin days destroyed, which is an incredible metric when looking at on-chain data and when looking at the behavior of different participants within the market, which, if you don't know yet, understanding the behavior of different types of category of investor in the market gives you better signal than almost anything in the market, okay? When you see long-term holders, or the holders and the wallet addresses that are identified as the long-term holders cohort of people, when you see them accumulating at the same period of time, I'll actually even show you. You'll see right here, boom, 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 logging in. When we come over here to favorites, if we come down to, where is it at? Actually, it might be right here on Look Node. Let's come over here. Look. You haven't checked this one out. I just got word one of the people from their team messaged me yesterday. This is not a promotion of any paid product. They just made all of their charts free, which is what I wanted to let you know. But if you come over here, if you come to favorites, if we come down and we look at the short-term holder supply, look at when short-term holders supply increases, meaning they have been buying. They're buying into the bull market. They're buying hype. They're not buying data. Now, some of them will make money, sure. The people that get in and get right out. But the truth of the matter is most of the people that get in and get right out, they get in at a peak right here and they get out on that dip. So they bought high and sold low. Bought high, sold low. But overall, we see this metric, this orange metric is increasing into the peaks of bull markets, okay? And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people were suggesting there's many signals that this was actually the trend cycle top, although this was higher. This was also influenced, this second top at 69,000 was also influenced by pervasive sort of inflation coming in. And in addition to all of that, there's too many indicators that I could show you here on chain that would show that this by all data was actually the trend cycle top, which is why when you see some analysts measure, they're using, a lot of people use this as the bear market top, or sorry, the bull market top, to then measure out the time distances when they're trying to do time-based analysis on the market. But the whole point here is we're seeing short-term holders making stupid decisions, buying into the peaks of the market. Now, if we come over here and we look at the long-term holder, where's long-term holder supply? Long-term holder supply. Here we go. Now we look at the long-term holder supply. What happens on peaks? Oh, look at that. They've taken profit. The reason their supply is decreasing, look at that, decreasing. Their supply is decreasing because they're offloading the money they bought, the assets they bought smartly at great accumulation, lower zones, and they're selling into the strength of the bull market when it reaches their targets. So they have a strategy. They have a plan. And they're doing smart things with their money because look at this. Why is this going up? Because they're accumulating into the weakness of the market. Why is this going up? Because they're accumulating into the weakness of the market. Now, this massive dip that we see right here, where this was not a dip, this was a capitulation, where it went from about 6,500 down to 3,500 or so, 3,700. And this scared a lot of people because it's basically dropped by half in about 3 days. But this wasn't a full capitulation. This was just a small pullback here, and then strong accumulation. And then look at right where they start offloading, taking profits. And then what happens when they take profits? When they're taking profits, these long-term holders take profits. That means they're selling. And who are they selling to? When they sell, then that coin automatically becomes a short-term held coin, because now whoever bought it has now had that coin for less than 155 days. And statistics show that coins bought, unless identified by a specific institution or wallet address that is known as a holder, a known holder, coins held less than 155 days have a very high statistical hit rate of capitulation in any sort of volatility or uncertainty in the market. Now, shout out to Taylor Brown. He said, "What's up, Kelly? What's up?" Back to you. Shout out to Alex Green. Shout out to everybody here in chat. If you have not yet, please hit that like button, smash the like button. It really helps out the channel. It really helps us measure the metrics here and get involved with what we want to do with YouTube to get pushed the way we need to. And we're in a battle here with me and BitBoy and Frankie Candles and Around the Blockchain. We're trying to race to see who can get a certain number of likes. So let's do it. Drive it up here. Give us some engagement. I really appreciate it. But what we're looking at again here is when these long-term holders are selling, they're selling to short-term holders. So as they're selling to short-term holders, now we get a disproportion of short-term holders near market cycle peaks. And then at those market cycle peaks, now if we have short-term holders, what did we just say about short-term holders? They are very easy to sell or capitulate in the face of any sort of uncertainty. So the second, now we have an imbalance of short-term holders near market cycle peaks. Then we get that sustained downtrend, and the long-term holders waiting for lower prices to start accumulating until we get a disproportion of more long-term holders and short-term holders. And we've got the whole course on this in BitLab Academy. But then there was other thing we can see right here. And I do want to shout something out that I said the other day, and it was an error because I did something that I wasn't taking in all the data. I completely confused myself looking at a chart the other day. And this holder net position change, this is not, I was in my mind thinking I was looking at an exchange net position change. When this is green, this means holders are accumulating. When this is red, this means holders are basically distributing. They're getting out of those coins. So we're seeing a lot of holders, the hodler cohort of the market, the long-term sort of people have bought into this level. And if we zoom in on this, I guess we can't do that there. We zoom in on this, we can see there was a lot of speculation that this could be the floor. And then, of course, we had the FTX issue. And this capitulation caused some people to be a little bit patient. And then now we're getting the holder cohort to come back in. Now, the chart I wanted to show you is this value days destroyed is looking at that relationship of long-term holders and when they're moving their coins as opposed to short-term holders. That's a kind of a very simplified way of saying this. And it takes that coin days destroyed, which essentially is, think of it this way. If I give you $1 and you hold it for 5 days, then that dollar has that dollar has 5 days. And so if you spin that dollar or give it to somebody or lose it, then that's 5 days destroyed. So it's really measuring how long coins have been held before they were spent. So when coins are being spent here at the top and they're long held coins, then you're destroying a lot of it's every day that was since the day it was acquired, and then now the day that it's being distributed or sold or traded. So there's a lot of days, and when you have a lot of long-term holders selling near tops, you get a huge spike in long-term holder days. But what this is really showing us is that these points have been good points of distribution, and we see maturity in the market here because we have long-term holders selling right at the peak, right at and after the peak, right at and after the peak. And now people are gotten smarter, right? You see as this line goes across where the previous all-time high was about, this was $1,100. As soon as we sort of broke the previous all-time high, then we start seeing distribution into the strength of this trend, okay? So they're exiting their trades profitably into the strength of the bull market, way above where their entry prices were. How do I know it was way above their entry price? Because we see these massive spikes in value days destroyed, which is a coefficient of coin days destroyed, meaning the coins traded here, there's a lot of coin days being destroyed, meaning they're long-term held coins, and that means there's a lot of profit taking here, not capitulation taking. This is profit taking. And then now we see over here, similarly, we see people taking profits prior to the peak. They're taking profits here at about the 41,000 level mark. It scales up starting about right here, previous price action all-time high, and there's profit taking into this peak. And so this makes sense now that this price broke down. But let's take a pause here for a second, because we just broke down a lot of data. I didn't mean to go into a bit of an on-chain lesson there, but sometimes we pull up a chart, and I don't just want to show you the chart and show you what the correlation is. I want to break down. I want you to understand what the signal is in the chart, what the data is available, what the data is presenting you based on how it's being calculated. Because understanding these things and not just seeing what the correlations are of them, understanding how these different, especially the on-chain course in BitLab Academy is the one I'm most excited about, because understanding how these different data points are being calculated and then watching them play out on the chart and how they correlate with different parts of a market cycle gives you more information and knowledge about smart decisions in the market than anything else, because you see what smart money's doing. You see where they're buying, you see where they're selling. You see what long-term holders are doing. You see where they're buying, you see where they're selling. You see what the short-term holders are doing. You see where they're buying at a top and capitulating at a loss. And you can adjust your strategy because you can see the mistakes other people have made historically on the data, and you can make smarter decisions. So let's look at these charts. Actually, on the Bitcoin chart, I'm going to walk you through a couple setups that really perfectly called what's going on with this pump that just happened. And are we going to continue, or are we going to break down? Shout out to rule number one, never sell. That's right. First time here, dude. Thank you so much, my brother. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Just love building this community here. And again, thank you for everybody for being here. Thank each and every one of you for showing up, especially at this part in the market where we had a huge bearish downtrend, and we're here learning. It's all of you that are here that are going to make it, because you are here grinding away in the boredom, and we're just now starting to see if this small pump that we're getting, is this going to be a continuation into a new bull trend, or is this going to break down? So first thing we're going to do, always, what do? We come back over here, and we need to revisit this every single time. Go to the top, please. Come on. Go to the top. There we go. We need to revisit this every single time, just to remind everybody, especially for new people that are here, we have to remember the market cycle trading cheat sheet. And there's not only one cycle. Always consider a minimum of 3 cycles: your macro, your midterm, and your micro. We might be in a macro downtrend, like when we look at the weekly, the monthly or the weekly. We're in this massive downtrend. We're pushing up. We're trying to identify if we're at this level right here, or if we're still somewhere right here breaking down. Crypto Savvy thinks we're probably somewhere here, and we have a way longer way to go down. And that's based on the metrics he looks at. I think personally that we're probably more likely somewhere in this region right here on the cycle. But then we have to remember this is a macro cycle. So if we consider this same structure, this up and down right here is this same structure itself on a smaller time frame. And then the smaller reversal right here is the same structure itself inverted on an even smaller time frame. So the macro, midterm, micro. So we're going to look right here. Let's see. Macro, midterm. Okay. For some reason, sorry, my screen froze over here. Sorry about that. Alrighty, looking right here. Hey, Alexandra G, and Alex Green. Thank you so much. You all have been so wonderful at sharing links and just making sure people are integrated and all this. You two are my MVPs in this channel, especially with Matt C as well. So thank you so much with all that. I really appreciate that as we move along here. But what we want to look at is we're going to look at the macro. We all know it's a downtrend, so that's established. Let's go down to the 3-day. What is this dot? There we go. Now we're going to come down to the daily, and this is where I want to start. So we had this macro downtrend. I have two lines here with two different opportunities for potential downtrend resistance, massive downtrend resistance from that falling wedge that we're in. We found a little bit of pause here. We did sort of roll over. We got the pullback. We got some pullback that a lot of people were waiting on, which, by the way, if we look at this 3-day chart, and just for anybody that's not aware, this is a BitLab trading stack that integrates, I mean, probably 15 different indicators. We have the BitLab market intelligence, BitLab hidden volume, BitLab relative extrema, BitLab significant movement. And this essentially gives us indication of a combination of the MACD, RSI, the buying pressure, money flow, as well as how fast moves are going. Are they within the context of standard deviation of price movement over a set number of a period of time back? That's why we get these bars sticking to the upside or the downside outside of this cloud. As you can see here, this is a signal price is going to cool back and come down. This is a signal when it's out of the cloud to the downside that price is likely going to snap back to the upside. Similarly, this is a hidden volume where we have bearish divergences on top, bullish divergences on bottom, and then this is a market intelligence. It gives us all these bearish divergences on all these flags on top, and it tells you how many. I'll show you what they are right here. But then it also reads divergences from on-balance volume, tracking money flow, relative strength index, stochastics, momentum, MACD, as well as having an EMA ribbon. So we use these in combination, and we can really get a good picture on what's going on. But when we see this right here, if you played this low move, which these highs and lows are also prints on these, which are good take profits in either direction, depending on what your strategy is, especially in combination when you have them in combination with like this right here. You see momentum with a high, you see RSI, MFI with a high print as well. But we can see this, this right here called the pullback. Just looking at a couple of things, we see the price action went up and got resistance at the top of this EMA ribbon, which is this line here. Now, in addition to this, we see four different, we see momentum, on balance volume, money flow index, and an external. So that's one of the things too, for everybody, if you don't know, the BitLab market intelligence, you can come down here and you can set it to check any external indicator you want. You can set it if you have market cipher, if you have a random indicator we've never heard of, you can utilize this to integrate with the other indicators and strategies that you use. And then, of course, you can change your settings. I have a variety of different settings I use for more aggressive and less aggressive moves. But what we're seeing here is we see four bearish divergences. Now, bearish divergences, we have to remember, are signaling that there's the pressure for this move to the upside is not sustaining in a way to keep this going because it's out of balance. And so the price has moved farther than the pressure behind it. So it's almost like a car rolling, a car is, rolling down a hill and it runs out of gas, and then you start to go up a hill and it has no gas. Bearish divergences are saying that you're lacking the gas to continue higher. In this case, we have four bearish divergences. We're seeing a sort of rounding pattern on the candlesticks right here, as well as finding resistance on the top of this EMA ribbon. If I go to this other chart, I think it's this one here. This one here. Okay. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, now zooming in here, this is right also at the Fibonacci, which is the retrace from this level here. So pulling from the top to the bottom. And for anybody that doesn't know, if this is your first time here, please go and watch the Pro Trading View Guide. It's a quick video. It's like a 12-minute video on the playlist area, Daily Alpha here on BitLab Academy, because I show you how to do quick keys. In this case, we can do Option F. You do Option F, for instance. I'll show you. Option F, if you click on the screen and then drag, then you get your Fibonacci. If you're on a PC, that's Alt. So we have long story short, this is a long story at this point. This is pushing up into the golden pocket. We have 4 bearish divergences. So this perfectly called this pullback. I would have, and we also see the reg wave is showing that the MACD and the RSI and other strength and momentum indicators are overheated, signaling that the trend is likely getting exhausted, and you could be finding a trend top soon, and that's exactly what happens. And the blue is when you're likely finding a trend bottom, because things are very undervalued as it relates to the momentum and strength and stochastics. And so we're getting a combination of all that in this significant movement indicator, and we see the support come in, and then we finally get the bullish divergence right here, which gives that support in confluence with this here. Now this is this signal right here, and this is going to lead into what the signal was that perfectly called the move today. If we look back to the start of this impulse to the upside, what really started it? Well, we can see right here, the relative extrema was pulled down to the downside. Now I want you to picture having a slingshot, and this is like pulling the tethers on a slingshot. And if it's down, that means you're pulling them down. And what does it mean if you're pulling them down? Where does the rock, or the acorn, or whatever you're shooting at, or slingshot, which way does it go? Up. Same thing. If you're pulling this back to the upside, that's pressure to the downside. And so if we mark this right here, option V, that gives us the vertical line. This is perfectly in line with having a gray area, which just means the significant movement was neutral. We have this to the downside, the relative extremist to the downside, shooting the upside. And then this is the most important factor right here, the hidden volume. This is my favorite indicator. So many people that use our setup, this BitLab trading stack, the BitLab trading suite, they ignore this because they don't understand it. I'm going to try and make some videos around this, because this is the best signal. You see this bearish divergence on volume? Look at that. And now you see this bullish divergence right here on volume in conjunction with the relative extrema, and we also have a low print right here on the candle patterns from the market intelligence, rocket to the upside. So now fast forward to where we're at today. We can see right here, we got this was red, showing overheated on the significant movement, but this turned gray. Now this is showing neutrality, while this relative extrema is now trying to load up for bullish pressure. So now if we come down and we look at the daily, now we can see how this move could have been called. Where are we at? Okay. So we see on the daily, this relative extrema was actually being pulled down, loading in some bullish pressure. We also had bullish divergence on the hidden volume, and we did get a little bit of a move up. It was about a 3% move up. Not bad for a scalp trade, but we are in a bit of a bearish narrative on this right here because we are rolling over. So I would have somewhat discounted these, because we also only have 2 signals and no divergences up here on this chart. So on this next move, we see that the likely floor of this small move down, mind you, this is a small move to the downside, but we're getting a undervalued level right here, showing that the bullishness is starting to come in on the larger time frames. Now we might not have all the signals on the daily to take the shot, but what we can do is we can see on our larger time frame that we're getting support, bullish support, sort of imbuing into our charts here on this larger time frame between the hourly and the smaller time frames that we're going to be trading on. So we're looking at the daily. If we come down to the 4 hour, we can see, look at this, loading up. We got a little bit of a rejection down here. We got a high. This was loading up right here. This flashed back blue. The significant movements flashed back blue. The extrema was showing that sort of bullish, slingshot sort of loading, pulling back, tension creating there. Now we can see right here, we also have a low print behind this flag. We also have RSI and stochastic bullish divergence, and we have a candle pattern right here that is showing this downtrend attempt at reversal. So we're getting 3 things in a row, in addition to holding above this sort of previous price action top right here. We're bouncing on this. We have a W formation attempting to form. We know that from this coming up, this coming down. We're getting the candle pattern showing the momentum losing to the downside. And then in addition to all this, Sorry about that. I had an issue there. In addition to all these things, we see the support on the daily that was coming in, showing trend support on the larger time frame. We have this flash blue. This is loaded up, and we get the bullish divergences above this the zone. So now on this 4 hour, okay, I see the setup coming in. Let me see if I can find something that's lining up on a smaller time frame, so I can really pull the trigger on this. So we come down to the 1 hour. Let's let it load up. Come on, there we go. So we come down to the 1 hour, and this is about where that same spot where it was bouncing down, and we see 3 divergences here. We have the extrema slightly sticking out, massive blue cloud. So this would have been a great opportunity for an entry. Now, now this is just looking on the 1 hour, so we come down to the 30-minute or the 24-minute, and we can see that there's a little bit of choppiness. Let's go down to the 24-minute. We're going to go up to a larger time frame. There we go. Now, 24-minute, actually, there we go. So here on the 24-minute, we see that there's a bit of choppiness. So I'm waiting for a little bit of blue to come in and some bullish divergences. Now you see there's bullish and bearish divergences here on the hidden volume. But what you notice here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish divergences on volume, where we have only 2 regular and then a hidden bearish divergence on volume. So these are the bullishness is coming in. It's sort of overweighing throughout this time period. It's overweighing the market. It's disproportionately bullish pressure coming in as opposed to bearish. And we also see this because the price is broken. It's fighting right in this EMA ribbon. See, it was fighting resistance, and then we kind of broke into it, and we traveled sideways, consolidated. And we're seeing a lot of choppiness on all the signals. That's because the market was saying, bulls or bears, what's the CPI going to do? And so you wait for that setup. You see the daily is formed, the support. Now we saw the support of the opportunity on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. So now jumping down to this 24-minute, we can see there's going to be a lot more signal here. But all we need to do is figure out at what point we find that confluence of the things we want to look for. And so for me, I would have been a little bit patient through all this because there's no clear direction. Just looking at the EMA ribbon as we're sitting above it and we're coming below it. Now we're barely riding on it. Now we bounce on it significantly, come up, test again, and then coming over and pushing down. When we get this next low, following two bullish divergences on the hidden volume, we have two bullish divergences right here. This is the momentum and the momentum and the, what is it? I forget what MM is. Come on. Yeah, momentum and the money flow index. That's what it is. So money flow is coming in. We have 2 bullish hidden volumes in a row. The relative extrema has been out of the cloud, and then we get the blue sign right here, perfectly aligned with a bullish divergence on hidden volume. So this is already sort of foreshadowing it. We're finding support on the EMA ribbon. I would have taken that long somewhere around right here, and I would have been okay with this. I would have a stop loss, and this did not go back below it. And then you would have caught this pump on this smaller time frame, which was a, if you're just doing swing trading, that would have been a 3.78% pump. Now, if you're looking at the larger time frames, which I recommend everybody do, this all would have been foreshadowed, and you could have taken advantage of this way back here. But there's abilities to take advantage of things on multiple time frames, and then take profits and get out at these key levels. Not only the market intelligence showing bearish divergences, but also the golden pocket and also previous price action high. We have so many things, and it's when the best dishes that any chef can make is when you use a creative and trusted and understood combination of ingredients that you know how to operate, that you know how to manipulate, that you know how to include, and in what order that you include them. And that's when you get that wonderful bouquet of that smell and tastes. And that's what you're doing when you're trading. It's as bizarre as it sounds. You're utilizing a variety of different tools and utilities and resources, and then your skills, taking all those things, interpreting that data, and then putting it into the chart. So we got a little while left. So how's everybody doing? Let me know. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, drive those likes up. Let's get all-time high on likes today. We really appreciate that. We only have 111 likes, it shows me on my side. and we've had 859 people in here throughout the stream. So let's drive those likes up. Let me know. We're gonna run through some charts here for a few minutes, and we're gonna see if there's any other setups going on as to what's happening. But before we do that, I just do want to point out on Bitcoin itself, where are we going from here? That's what everybody wants to know. I should bring that up. So we are still contentious because we've had this small pump. We have to look. Let's come down on the 12-hour. We have to see. I'm going to mute the indicator. If we do option T gives us a trend line, and we can see that there's a bit. Let's see. So we very well could have broken the trend line. We could be just under it. Either way, we are in confluence in this price region right here, which is also where we paused and traded a lot right here. And we also have previous price action highs all the way back. All the way back here and support here. So we need to first break through this level right here at the 22,008. We need to get back into the 23,000 level, but then the next target would be above this. Option J gives us a horizontal ray. The next target above this would be the 23,465, and then the most contentious thing that we absolutely need to do, regardless of if you think it does or not, is we need to get up above this level right here. Option J. So, and then we're going to do auto. We're going to double click on the chart to hide the smaller indicators on the bottom. So we need to break, of course, this high right above us, which is right in this golden pocket. So we need to not only clear the $24,500 range. This is just going to be a pit stop if we can get up to it, because as it looks right now, we're finding resistance. So this is still within the cards of what I said yesterday about my thought about the likelihood of this price action coming down, trying to shake people out both directions, and coming down and closing that CME gap about $19,900, and also being aware that on the daily, if we come in here, we go to 4MA, there we go. So we can see that the 200-day moving average, which is this gray line, so many times I leave it on paintbrush. The 200-day moving average, which is gray, we're going to make this a different color. Let's make it blue. There we go. So the 200-day moving average is right at the spider line right here, which is a support, as well as right at that CME gap level. So we've got a lot of stuff going right here at the $19,800 range. I still think it's likely that we have price action come back there because of the context of everything that's going on. We've had this push up. Great, we have this bullish push up. My fear about this is that the institutional traders, the smart money, are trying to, they're capitalizing on the hope that this move right here gave people. Bull market again. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the bull market's absolutely around the corner. I think we're going to have an interim bull market into 2023. As I said, pushing up to that 20, all the way up to at least 42,000, around $42,000 as a high, because this is a golden pocket from this entire move. But I do think that'll get rejected, come back down, scare everybody, and then we have our amazing run. But I think this is capitalizing on the move right here, the hope that it's inspired in people, and that this went down, got everybody to go short. This is going back up, getting everybody to go long. And I do think there's a high possibility, because now we're under, I believe this is the 21 or 25 moving average. So we're finding rejection here. We're finding resistance here as well. Now we have a trend line here that we're finding resistance on. We also have, on market intelligence, let's come down to the 3. There we go. Now we'll come down to 4 hour, and we can see we're getting divergences right here at this level as well. And so I do think that there's a good possibility, better than people want, of this getting rejected and testing that $19,800. But now let's go ahead and look over at Ethereum, because this one we've been ignoring Ethereum for a little bit, haven't we? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So let's double click on the chart, shrink that. Now we're going to zoom in here, and we can see these clear levels. Option F for Fibonacci. Drag this to the bottom. From the top is where I'm clicking. And then I drag this. And now if you all see, I have the expanded cursors that go, the crosshairs that have the markings that go all the way across the chart. That's so I don't have to drag something from a messy part of the chart. I can have it way over here, and I can see that the dotted line extending all the way to where I want it to be, and I can measure from that level all the way down here. And we can see that Ethereum is making a play for this golden pocket, which is at 16,000, 1608, 1610. But we are finding a little bit of resistance. We can tell that we're finding resistance because we have a bullish impulse wave. Sorry, we have a bullish impulse candle, as we see right here, because this broke out of this bull flag. And we need to look, option T, we need to look right here, doing a trend line. And then we're going to expand this. And look at that. The target from this move, the literal target from this bull flag is perfectly in the golden pocket. I cannot make that up. It is at 16,011. But what we're seeing here is because we are in a bit of a bearish, bullish quandary, we're seeing a little bit of resistance at this level right here, which is I drew a line that was kind of splitting all of this price action. This was and we're finding resistance because we have a larger candle that is followed by a somewhat smaller candle. So we could tell the bullish momentum is starting to wane, meaning it's not as much. And now we're getting something that looks like a shooting star, which a shooting star candle is something that you find at the top of reversals like this. See? So now we do have, let's see, it's 4 hours. I turned all my labels off yesterday when I was filming. Symbol, last price, and countdown to close. Okay, we still have 3 hours and 34 minutes. So let's see what this looks like on better resolution, meaning more candles within this time period. So let's go down to the 30-minute. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of bearishness here. So this did push up. It got rejected. Now, we pushed up, but had a strong rejection. I could tell it's a strong rejection because the bulls gave it their all, but they gave it their all with the last bit of gas in their tank. They gave it their all. And it's like somebody racing. And we're racing, and you need to be half pedal the whole way to not being all the way on the gas. Otherwise, you're going to run out of gas for the end of the race. So you can go really fast at the beginning of the race, but then you might not be able to end the race, right? So if you're just pedal to the metal, which is what the bulls did here, and we can tell they did that because the candlestick opened here, and the bulls pushed all the way up to here to where the top of this wick is. And then the bears said, absolutely not. We didn't even get to the previous level highs right here. And we got full rejection, ate this all the way back up, all the way down to this level here. So this is a very bearish indication of likely some downside to come for Ethereum. Now, we are still above the EMA ribbon, as we can see here. But this is showing sort of an M formation double top. And if we remember back to this, either double or triple tops, the M's or the W's, double or triple bottoms. That's the sort of formations that most regularly you see at market cycle tops or bottoms. And so this tried to do it, but it kind of pushed its way out. And we're seeing something like that may be forming here, but we need to be a little more patient on this one. In terms of the target, if we look to the downside, we take option F from the bottom, come all the way up to this top of where this move is. And we can see if this breaks down, we have a target. Look at this. This 382 is perfectly support for this move right here, which is 1544. Could expect a likely pullback to there. And if we do get that sort of scary wick down, that I was talking about on Bitcoin that goes down and breaks the resistance that we thought we flipped to support, and we do go down and clear that CME gap at $19,900 and test that 200-day moving average right around 19,780 or 19,800. Then Ethereum is very likely going to come down with it, and so I can't see. Let's go ahead and mute this so we can see more clearly. I can see clearly now. Divergence gone. So now coming out to the 4 hour, I can see minimum coming down to that level here, 1514, but in reality, that would be a minimum thing. I think if if Bitcoin breaks its downtrend of resistance and support, I think that Ethereum also likely will come down and test this level here, looking at the 1,410. Let's just go ahead and look at this macro. We're going to draw one more line, option T. There we go. I'm just trying to get this set more accurately. Oh, look at that. So this is interesting. So Ethereum has not even, I haven't been trading Ethereum the last 5 months, so I haven't been charting it as much. But I realized the other day, I'm doing these daily streams every day. A lot of you guys and gals might be trading Ethereum. So let's pull this up more regularly. We've done a lot of alts, but let's look at Ethereum. And we see with this, we are kind of finding resistance on the macro downtrend line. So looking at that, this is why you always need to, even if you forget to do it at the start, you always want to look at your macro, midterm, micro, because then it gives you better context. So this is much more bearish than I thought, with the potentiality of being very bullish. If we're able to break through this and find support, if we're able to do that move that we're looking for to find support to then go up, then that would be very bullish. But the fact that the Bitcoins had the pulse, but had the impulse upside, but is struggling a little bit. If Bitcoin gets rejected, I'm looking at something coming down like this, you know, to that potentially even the $1,100 mark. I don't think we're going to go down that far. I think it's going to be more likely. Look how ugly that is when you zoom in. I think a more likely target would be looking at something like option J. 1339, which is this previous price action peak, which goes all the way. We see this has a lot of confluence. Isn't that crazy? You just find points where price action has interaction, and that sort of maps out. Now, if we're going to do two fibs here. Option F from the bottom all the way to the top here, and look at where this bounced. Right on that 382. So we know that this is a strong fib. And we know, look at this golden pocket. It's perfectly in line with this, where this sort of broke through and then found support. This was also resistance. So I'm looking at a level, if we do break down, it's about 1,298, 1,000 in this sort of area. The top side of that would be the 13,020, 1,320, not 12,000, 1,320. But yeah, so that's what I'm seeing right now. If we're looking at these multiple time frames, if we're seeing support building on those multiple time frames, like we did on Bitcoin with the daily showing bullish support coming in, then we go to those smaller time frames, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 24 minute, and we see signals lining up where a bullish narrative, bullish pressure is coming in on multiple time frames. Then we can go to that smaller time frame and pull the trigger and feel confident about our trade, because the bullishness is being supported on multiple time frames. Now, this is something that really helps sort of alleviate some of the stress in the market. Now, no trade's going to be a perfect trade. You need to use risk management. You need to set your stop losses. You need to learn how to use trailing stop losses for the exchanges that do offer them. But the point here is, have a strategy. Look at multiple time frames. Watch for things brewing. Much like you know, a man on a boat has binoculars looking way far ahead of him so he can adjust course as necessary so he doesn't hit that iceberg like the Titanic. You know, so I just want you to be prepared. Utilize your tools. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. My name's Kelly Kellam. Thank you all so much for being here. That's where you can find me. That's where you can find all the BitLab Academy stuff. Come over here, follow us, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching on the Hit Network, shout out to everybody there. Big love to everybody that's over there at the Hit Network. I really appreciate you all. Make sure this is where you want to come. If you come to the BitLab Academy YouTube, it's youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. With that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell on the way out. Drop a comment in the chat before you go. Let us know what you're doing today. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let us know. Comment below the video if you're watching later. I really appreciate you all. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being my friends. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you again.